So I'm going to jump back to my editor here, and I'm going to scroll up to the top. Now, just like we've done in our previous examples, what we're going to do is go through this file just like PHP would the first time it loads. So we have our opening PHP tag, and then we have a function declaration called replace tokens with randomness. Now this isn't going to run just yet, so we'll skip this code. And then we have some PHP here, and this first line will definitely run. So this is an if control statement, and it looks like we have two conditions that we're checking because we have an and, which means that both of these conditions must be true in order for this code inside to process. So the way an if statement with this and operator works is that it will run this first condition first, and if it's false, it'll go ahead and skip all this code because it doesn't matter what's on the other side of this, because at least one of these conditions is false, and it knows it already. So it won't actually execute this code right here. But if this was set to true, then it would go ahead and check this condition, which is to make sure that the action variable is equal to randomize. Now the reason why it's important to note how this AND operator works is that if we actually ran this condition here, it would throw an error because there is no action key in the post array. But because we already checked to see whether the post action was set here, then it won't actually go and check this condition right now. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and skip all of this code for now because it's not executing yet. And here's the ending PHP tag. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down here, and let's go ahead and take a look at this HTML. So we can see that there's a form opening tag and a closing form tag, so this is just all one form right here. It has an action of test.php, which means we're posting back to the same file that generated it, and the method is post, which means that the variables that get submitted won't get added to the URL. We have our instructions here at the top, and then we have our input for the string with tokens. It's just a text input, and the name is string. And then we have our token 1, the name of which is token 1, and then we have the set of replacements, and then the name of that is replacements 1. Our next set of inputs is for token 2, and the input for the token is token underscore 2, and the replacement's name is replacements underscore 2. And then token 3 follows the same pattern. Now, if you watched some of the previous videos on how to use loops in order to cut down code, you may be looking at this and thinking, there's a lot of similarities between each one of these lines. I bet we could put that in a loop and potentially then add some new functionality. For example, we can run the loop 10 times or 20 times with virtually the same amount of code. And that's exactly what we're going to do in the next step. So at the end of these tokens, we have a submit button that says generate randomness, and then we have an input with the name of action and the value of randomize. Now we used this in the previous video in order to delineate between multiple forms, but it can also be a good standard trigger for just submitting a single form. It's possible that in the future as we develop this form, we might change the name of these various inputs, so checking to see if any of those have values isn't necessarily going to be a trigger for PHP to know that the form has been submitted. So this action variable can still come in handy even though we only have one form on this page. Okay, so at this point, the form gets rendered in the browser, and now we fill out our data and resubmit it. So let's go ahead and scroll up to the top and start again from the top. But this time knowing that we have some data to work with.